Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So here we have one of the question type and that gives us some kind of a jumbled sentences, but at the same time five sentences are pointed. It means it would be out of context uh, question or odd man out question types from the jumbled sentences. So this is a kind of a question type. It seems. Let's look into it. So the direction for question is what? Five sentences related to a topic are given below. Four of them can be put together to form a meaningful and coherent short paragraph. Identify the out of context statement. Yes, it's a out of context, or we could consider that odd man out question types. So where generally what the students do, the students read the sentences and try to jump in the middle of it, or you can consider that whichever they feel like it is the odd one, they means take it as the option. But what I feel like, what when we go for the jumbled sentences or odd man out question types, we need to make the sequence. If we make the sequence, then we get the choice which will be more appropriate, right? And most appropriate with the accuracy, 100% accuracy. But if you jump in the midst of it, and if you feel like what this could be the odd one out, instead of doing means a sequence, so what will happen? You may get uh, in some cases correct, but in not in all the cases, right? So therefore, the proper procedure to get the odd man out or out of context statement to uh, make correct is what? First, you read all the sentences and try to make them in a form of sequence. So, after making the sequence, then you uh, find out the option which will be called as a odd one out. Okay, so let's look into it. So, what does this odd one out context statement point out? So, the first option said photo intelligence tells you where the enemy's military forces are. So, what tells you where the enemy's military forces are? Photo intelligence. It can go a long way in telling you what equipment they have and what their state of readiness is, he said. Option 2 stated over time, Corona cameras and film improved in quality with an archive of almost 1 million images. The program detected Soviet missile sites, a warship, naval bases, and other military targets. Option 3 said one early answer was Corona, approved by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1958. Now, option 4 stated satellite reconnaissance, yeah, reconnaissance, you can say that reconnaissance offered a glimpse into the Soviet black box, said James David, a curator at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington. So, fifth, they said early in the Cold War, the States struggled to acquire military intelligence on the Soviet Union, a vast enemy spanning 11 time zones and one-sixth of the planet's land surface. Now, if you look into all these five sentences, right? So, if you look into that mm, option one, right? So, option one statement making a kind of a what means a photo intelligence, so which is given in the quote. It is stated photo intelligence tells you where the enemy's military forces are. It can go a long way in telling you what equipment they have and what their state of readiness is, he said. Now he refers to whom, right? That is what we need to see. He refers to what? Now, if I look into that option 4, where it is stated satellite reconnaissance offered a glimpse into the Soviet black box, said James David. Now, do you find out the person? Right. Now, you also find out another noun which is called as a one early answer was Corona, approved by President Dwight T. Eisenhower in 1958. But again, it is indicating that uh, it is indicated about Corona and stated by President Dwight T. Eisenhower in 1958. So in that case, if I look into that, option 4 and 1 makes a kind of a link here. Why? Because generally we talk about the pronouns, right? Pronouns are used instead of nouns, right? So in that case, if it is stated, James Tabbitt, that satellite reconnaissance offered a glimpse into the Soviet black box, a curator at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington. And that photo intelligence tells you where the enemy's military forces are. It can go a long way in telling. So these two are making a kind of a link, right? And if you see, four mentions a claim. So option four mention what? Claim, right, made by an expert, and then statement one directly quotes him, isn't it? So therefore, you can say here 4 and 1 is a kind of a link to each other. If I look into the option 2, it is stated that over time, Corona cameras and film improved in quality time, right? Uh, quality time or quality. With an archive of almost 1 million images, the program detected Soviet sites and other military targets, right? So if I look into this option 2 and if I look into the option 3 where it is stated one early answer was Corona approved by so and so. Over time, Corona cameras and film improved in quality. So 3 and 2 have a link because statement 3 introduces what? The Corona, right? And statement 2 explains how it involves, isn't it? How it involves. So in that case, option 4 and 1 link with each other, option 3 and 2 also linked with each other. Now in that case, we have a option means 5, isn't it? So if I look into the option 5, what does it indicate? Um, 3 and 2 link because statement 3 introduces Corona and statement 2 explains. Now, in that case, and if you look into the final statement or finally, statement 1 and 2 also have link because statement 1 explains what photosynthesis or sorry, photo intelligence can do and statement 2 demonstrates, isn't it? Demonstrates what? Whatever latter version of Corona could do, right? So, in such a scenario, the statement that breaks the pattern is statement 2, right? Because it is stated about what? Statement 1 explain photo intelligence can do, and statement 2 indicates about what? Means latter versions of Corona could do. So, in that case, the statement that breaks the pattern is statement 2, isn't it? The key theme of the passage is the early problem and how it was tried to be solved then. Statement 2 breaks the chain by talking about the scenario over time. Scenario over time, isn't it? So, um, much later than the current discussion. So, in that case, if you talk about means 5, which is stated early in the Cold War, so it is stated about the war. Now, in that case, 5 4, 1, 4 and 1 are connected to each other. 5, 4, 1, 3, right? So are stated about what? Means stated about the war and then after it continues means the present situation, whereas option 2 stated about overtime, isn't it? So statement 2 does nothing but what? Disrupts disrupts what? Disrupt the chronological flow by introducing a consideration over time, isn't it? Which does not align with the focus on the early challenges and solution, right? early challenges early challenges and solution, early challenges and solutions, right, presented in the other statement. So in that case, we could find out option 2 would be the Option 2 would be the odd one out. And whereas the sequence should be what? 5, 4, 1, 3. Isn't it? So look at the means option 2, which is stated about overtime, right? And whereas other options are stated about means what happened, right? And option 2 stated before that. So on the basis of that, we can consider that 5413 is the sequence and 2 is the odd one out. Hope you understood. That's all. Thank you.